Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. Before we get to this afternoon's unveiling, which will happen in a few minutes, I want to offer an update on what's been happening on Main Street in Ellicott City and tell you what's coming up. First, I also want to acknowledge Councilman John Weinstein is here. Thank you very much, John, again, for all the work you've done in Ellicott City and being so ever-present everywhere. For the past few weeks, our county crews and contractors have been hard at work repairing infrastructure. They fixed sewers, rebuilt sidewalks, constructed retaining walls, and completed many, many more projects. They've also installed temporary curbs and gutters and added or expanded storm drains to mitigate the impact of future storms. BGE crews and contractors have also been hard at work installing a new natural gas line down Main Street and connecting it to the individual properties. The Howard County Economic Development Authority has held 4 resource sessions to assist businesses during the recovery. These sessions have all been well attended. And this Sunday, the Department of Community Resources and Services will host a resident return preparedness meeting from 5:30 p.m. to 7 o'clock at the Ellicott City 50 Plus Center. There will be panelists on hand to discuss a wide range of topics, including landlord-tenant questions, parking, safety, environmental health, and resources to replace food, shelter, furniture, and remediate mold. On Monday, the portion of Main Street between Court Avenue and Forest Street will reopen. Forest Street, however, will remain closed to traffic. And we're opening up more spaces on Lot F at the top of the hill. By Monday, 80% of that lot will be open and available for public parking. Every day, we're making progress. Today, I want to announce that on September 17th, we will reopen Main Street to credentialed pedestrian traffic from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. This includes business owners, property owners, residents, and construction workers. They will have access for 3 days. There will be no on-street parking on Main Street during that time, but those with credentials will be allowed to take their vehicles in for loading and unloading, and traffic on Main Street will be one-way only. We've heard from some of the property owners and businesses and residents that they would like a little more time to finish some cleanup projects and secure their buildings before we open up Main Street to the public. So we're going to give them these 3 days for that purpose. For any folks who don't have credentials, we will continue to provide credentialing services at the Roger Carter Center, effective immediately, from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., 7 days a week through September 20th. Also, those with credentials will be able to obtain the wristbands for one-day access if they plan to have friends, helpers, volunteers assist them during those 3 days. So they won't have to keep on going back and going through credentialing. Then, at 5 p.m. on September 20th, we will reopen Main Street to the public for pedestrian traffic only. We've made this appeal before, and I'll make it again. Please don't come to Ellicott City just to gawk. These folks are still putting back the pieces of their lives, and we need to show them some courtesy and respect for what they're going through. We are still working on whether it would be feasible to allow vehicular traffic. Remember, this will be an active construction zone, and changes to traffic patterns, including one-way traffic, detours, lane closures, flagging operations, and temporary complete closures will be likely for some time to come. Prior to the 20th, we'll make sure we provide information about any traffic pattern and what it will be like. We will continue to ensure the Main Street area is secure, and that will include foot patrols. In the coming week, we will be repaving Lot D. This work will be done in phases, but we hope to have much of Lot D open to the public by the 20th. We had hoped the bridge over Patapsco River onto Maryland Avenue would be open by now, but our work there proved to be a little more extensive and time-consuming than we anticipated. We had to install a new water line to the B&O Museum for fire protection. The wall next to that museum was at risk of failure, and it would have blocked all flow out of Ellicott City, so we also had to fix that wall. There was also other necessary work in the plaza area, and the State Highway Administration had to repair bridge railings and the sidewalk. However, with that said, we now expect the bridge will reopen to two-way traffic to Maryland Avenue to St. Paul Street by 7 a.m. on September 17th. The traffic signals will be in operation by then as well. However, a caveat. There still may be some one-way traffic from the CSX Bridge to Maryland Avenue when construction dictates. So while we're reopening it, there may be times when we'll have to kind of help the traffic get through there or close it for a little bit. Now, looking down the road, this graphic to my right outlines the timetable for our recovery. We're also in the process of hiring a consultant to conduct a case study of what happened on the night of July 30th. The consultant will interview individuals in the community in order to piece together how the various branches of water acted that evening. This study will take no longer than 3 months. We're also in the process of hiring a consultant to assess the stream corridor. The purpose of this study is to perform a visual survey and document the stream channel conditions within the Tiber Hudson following the flooding on on July 30th. This survey will include mapping, written and photographic documentation of any conditions that may affect flooding of adjacent properties or contribute to additional stream instability. We have already retained a consultant to conduct a hydrological analysis of the Hudson, Tiber, and Newcut branches, something we've been working on for the last few weeks. This will be a thorough and extensive analysis, and it will be crucial in modeling various storms and the impact they would have on Ellicott City. Additionally, this study will help us measure the benefit of potential flood mitigation projects. You all probably know that we're hosting a flood recovery town hall on Wednesday evening at Veterans Elementary School. Councilman Weinstein will be joining me that evening to help answer questions and hear from the public about the response, the recovery, and other issues that may come up concerning the Ellicott City flood. In addition, in the coming months, with our community advisory group, we will be conducting a series of listen and learn sessions for the community before we jump into a comprehensive planning process. It's important that we begin to assemble a list of projects that could make Ellicott City a model, resilient community. We're going to collect these ideas from within county government and from the community. But I believe it's important for everyone to understand. I expect that not all project ideas will be feasible on both an engineering and/or economic basis. And it's unlikely that we will have the resources to fund all of the project ideas. Therefore, the project ideas will be prioritized by the largest benefit they will provide to make Ellicott City a more resilient town. After the hydrology study is completed, we'll begin our comprehensive planning process. We expect that process will take about 4 months. So we're looking at an overall process that will likely take around a year. That may seem like a long time, but we want to be thorough and comprehensive. We want to get the science in hand before we jump forward. We want to do it right and avoid putting any more Band-Aids on this problem. Since taking office, I've made flood mitigation a priority, starting with the funding for the mitigation projects and along with Councilman Weinstein again, thank him for his cooperation and support and working together with him, and establishing the historic Ellicott City Flood Work Group. Some of the projects we've completed, such as the stream retaining wall near Ellicott Mills Brewing Company, have already proven successful and will continue to build on that progress. I assure you that should we receive federal disaster support, mitigation will be a key priority for the county. Now, to the unveiling. I want to introduce Dee Cunningham. Dee, why don't you come forward? Her studio on Frederick Road on Ellicott City's West End was among the businesses devastated by the flood. As she was cleaning up her damaged studio, she discovered this mural, and we'll have it in a second, and several prints of this panel were relatively unharmed. Dee sold her prints to benefit the Ellicott City Partnership Recovery Fund. The original 4x8 panel was priced at $5,000. We worked with Dee, and if I could ask Theo and Lisa Schlossnagle to come forward as well. We worked with Dee and donors Theo and Lisa Schlossnagle to place this mural for display here at the George Howard Building. I want to thank and commend, come on over, act like we like each other. Hey, we're all Atherton grads too, by the way. Commend Dee, Theo, and Lisa for their generosity and support of the Ellicott City Partnership Recovery Fund. I also want to recognize, I saw her back there, Karen Beeson, president of the Partnership Board, and I want to thank her for all that the Ellicott City Partnership has been doing from the minute it happened. And I really appreciate the amazing job you've all done. Thank you very much. Thank you. This mural will remain here at the George Howard Building until it can be put on display in an appropriate location, hopefully on Ellicott City's Main Street. We've talked about that. But we're certainly going to look for where we can find a place that people will be able to see it and they'll remember and hopefully bring some comfort to people. It's intended to be a long-standing reminder of the flood, but more than that is to be displayed as a symbol of the community's resolve to rebuild. After the unveiling, I'll be available to answer some questions. Hopefully you guys will as well. But I want to leave. Do you want to say anything, Dee?
Just thank you.
Well, why don't you go ahead? Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you to Karen and everyone else. It's been quite the adventure and journey that we've all gone through. And to Theo, whom I know as Ted, and Lisa, I went to school with them, for donating the money to purchase this and donate it towards the Ellicott City Partnership. I really am grateful for that. And thank you,
Great.
Mr. Alan Kittleman, for everything.
Want to say something?
Thank you.
Come on, Lisa. You can say it.
Well, Theo and Dee and I are Howard County kids, and Ellicott City is a huge part of all of our lives, so we're happy. And Dee's art is too incredible to not be on display somewhere. So we're happy to do this.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Isn't it beautiful? Why don't you show them the mark? I think
So this was actually sitting on the floor of my studio, which is at the 8602 block of the West End. And the water, even in my studio, came up to about 2.5 feet. This is actually 2 feet. So this whole panel is 4 feet tall by 8 feet wide. And so this was sitting at the upper end of my studio, which slopes because it's an old garage. And the studio itself sits on top of the Tiber River, goes under my building. The original building was built in 1880, and it was rebuilt in the 70s by the Klein family. And so this was sitting here and walked in the next day, and there it goes.
Wow.
So, yeah.
It's awesome. It's awesome. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.